bum 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 ba-da-dum bum 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 ba-da-dum bum 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 ba-da-da-ya-ya-ya-ya ay hey Masai kawawasima le'chaya futu manizachutsu I must, Kasima. Lershe Yavutsu, Masai. Hey, go, Wasima. Lershe Yavutsu, bam, 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 bam. Yam bam ba da 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 dum bam bam ba dum bam ba da dum bam 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 bam. Good morning, everybody. As we start today's chitas of the day, we're gonna start with the chumash of the day, and we're gonna start in the book of. We're still in the portion of Vayetze. Jacob goes out to Haran, to his uncle, and he meets there the daughters of Lavan, Rachel, and Leah. So he comes there, and Lavan invites him in, and he works for him for a while, and then he says, "I'm going to pay you." So that's what we're holding in chapter 29, verse 18. Yev Yaakov is Rachel, and Yaakov loved Rachel, as the Torah said before. When he saw her, he fell in love with her. And he said, "I will work for you for 7 years. Rachel bitcha ktana, I worked for you for 7 years for your younger daughter Rachel." So now she says, I worked for 7 years. Heim yom achadim. These are the few days, 7 years, are the few days, sha'amala ima, which his mother said before, yishafti ima yom achadim, which his mother said, you will be with him for a couple of days. And as we know, these are yom achadim, these are a few days, as he says before. He says, it was by here, it was in 2 verses. For now, he says that it was by Jacob, the 7 years were like a few days. Berachel bitcha aktana. Why do you have to say 3 words? 2 words. Berachel bitcha aktana. Rachel, your daughter, who is young, the younger one. So Rashi says, Kol samanim halalu lama. Why did the Torah say all these signs? So Rashi answers, since Jacob knew that Laban was a deceiver, he said to him, I will work for you for Rachel. At least you say that I mean another Rachel from the street, your daughter. Now you might say I will change her name to Leah, and I will name her Rachel, Leah Rachel. So therefore he said, your younger daughter. So he gave him all these signs. He made it very clear. And nevertheless, he tricked him anyway. Verse 19. So Lavan said, it's better I give her to you than I marry her to another man. Stay with me. Verse 20. Yaakov went out and he worked for his father-in-law to marry this girl, Rachel. Sheva Sanim for 7 years. They appeared to him like a few days. Because he loved her. Verse 20. After 7 years, Yaakov told Lavan, Hava is Ishti, please bring me my wife. Because the days have ended. I want to get married. So now she says that my days are completed, in which my mother told me. Moreover, my days are completed, for I'm already 84 years old. It's time to get married. I'm 84 years old. When will I raise 12 tribes when I'm 84 years old already? This is what he meant when he said that I may come to her. Now, isn't it true that the most denigrated person would say this? Why would he say such an expression? It sounds very vulgar. But Jacob, meant to intend to beget generation. He said, this is a fact. Tell you the facts of life. I'm getting older. I'm not a young man, and I need to establish a family. Verse 22. Yosef Lavan Lavan said, sure. He made a big party, invited the whole family, the whole city. And it came in the evening. He took Leah, his daughter, and he brought Leah. And he lived with her. Verse 24. Vayitim Lavan as Zilpah shivchas Leah. And Lavan gave Zilpah, his maidservant, to his daughter Leah as a maidservant. Verse 25. Vayiba Baker was the next morning. He knew he Leah, and behold, it was Leah. Yemel Lavan, and he told to Laban, Mazais Asali, what have you done to me? I worked for Rachel. Imach with you, Lamari Misani, why did you deceive me? So Rashi says, what do you mean he woke up in the morning? What happened at night? But at night he did not know it was Leah, because Jacob had given the signs to Rachel. Medrash says Jacob knew that Lavan's going to trick him, so therefore he gave certain signs to Rachel that she would give him. And when she saw them bringing Leah, she went. She's, my sister is going to come to shame, and she transmitted these signs that he gave her to her sister. This is one of the greatness of Rachel, not wanting to embarrass her older sister. As you can imagine, many commentators on this whole story. Verse 26. So Lavan said, it is not done in our place, to give the younger before the older. And therefore I couldn't do that. You know what? Complete the wedding week. And I'll give you the second daughter. I'll give you Rachel. But you'll have to work another 7 years again. So now she says, this is instruction state because it's vocalized a chat of Shva, and it means the week of this one, which is 7 days of feasting, celebrating newly wedding couple. So okay, this is grammar, so we're going to go further. Not lach, lashon rabma, I'll give it to you. A plural expression. This is a plural. Nitlach, I'll give it to you, means this too is expression of giving. Gam es zois, I'll give you also this one immediately after 7 days of feasting, and you will work after her marriage. This is also what the Gemara learns from here, that you shouldn't, if a family has 2 weddings, they shouldn't do it in the same week. They should wait a week and then do the second wedding, at least a week. Verse 28. Yaakov came, and Yaakov did that, and he waited for a week. After the week of the celebration with Leah, he gave her Rachel, Bita Leila Isha. He gave her for a wife. Rachel Bita is Bila Shivchasala, the Shivcha, and Laban gave his daughter Rachel, his maidservant Bila, as a maid. Verse 30. Now, those who say that Bila and Zilpah were also daughters of Lavan. They were daughters also from a Pelegish, from the maid. Verse 30. Vayave gam el Rachel, he came and he lived with Rachel. Vayehav gam es Rachel Leah. He also loved Rachel more than Leah. And he worked for another 7 years. So Rashi says they were compared to the first 7 years. Just as he worked for him during the first ones faithfully, so too the other ones, even though the second 7 years were done out of a trickery, he still did the job. A deal is a deal, and he didn't work for him deceitfully. Verse 31. Yad Hashem, and God saw Kisnua Leah, that Leah was hated. Yiftach es Rachma, he opened up her womb. Rachel akara, and Rachel was barren. Verse 32. Leah vatela ben, and Leah conceived, and she bore a son. Vatikar shmei Ruven, and she called his name Ruvain. Ki amra, because she said, Ki ra Hashem ba'ani, because the Lord has seen in my pain and my affliction. Ki ata, maybe now, ki ata, for now, Yehavani ishi, my husband will love me. So Vatikar shmei Ruven, our sage explained, she said, look at the difference between my son and the son of my father-in-law, who sold his birthright to Jacob. This one, Reuven, did not sell it to Joseph. And he did not contend against him, but even sought to take him out of the bed. Ru ki ra Hashem. The Eibishter will see, Reuben, my son, will be a special boy. Reuven will be a special, he'll be the firstborn who will not be like Esau, but will be a special child. Verse 33, you should know that the matriarchs gave all the names of the children. They were great prophets. Verse 33, she conceived again, Vatela ben, she had another son, Vatomer, and she said, as you see, that Leah named her children, Kisham Hashem, Kisnu Anechi. The Lord has heard that I have been hated. See that Leah felt that she was hated, even though it doesn't say anywhere that he hated her. But Leah felt subconsciously that she was hated. And she gave me also this one, Shimon, and she called him Shimon. Shimon comes from hearing, Shimon, Shimu, to hear. Verse 34, Vatar she conceived again. Vatele ben, she had a third son. Vatema ata hapam yilave ishi. Now my husband will be attached to me. I have 3 sons. Kilata leishleisha banim. Aken karashmai Levi. That's why he was called Levi. So here Rashi said, what it also mentioned, since the matriarchs were prophetess, they knew that the 12 tribes would emanate from Jacob, and that he would marry 4 wives. She said, from now on, he will find no fault with me because I had already 3 sons. They thought there would be 3, 3, and 3, and 3 is 12. So that's how she felt, that they knew there would be 12 sons out of 4 wives. It would be 3, 3, and 3, and 3. So she said, I have accomplished my mission. I have accomplished my mission. He can't ask for me anything more. I have given him 3 sons. For now, he will find no fault for me. I've contributed my share of sons. So she felt, that's why she called him Levi. And therefore, moreover, is referring to this expression, Al-Kain had a large population, except Levi. Because the ark destroyed many of them. Levi took care of the utensils, and therefore it was the smallest tribe. He named him Levi. Oh, Kara, over here it changed it suddenly. And the third child, it says he named him Levi. I'm wondering why it's written concerning this one, Rashi says, and he named him. While the other ones, it says she named him. So why does it say over here he named him? There's a Gadik Medic in Deuteronomy, Rabbah, which relates how the Holy One, blessed be he, sent Gabriel, and he brought him Levi before him. And he gave him his name. God himself named him Levi. And he gave him 24 priestly gifts. And because he accompanied him, lover, with gifts, his name was Levi. Levi means to be accompanied, to have accompanied of something. And here the Levi was accompanied even from that time with 24 gifts, which God ultimately gave to the Levium, to the Levites of the future. Verse 35. Atad Oid, she had another child. Ataylet, she conceived another child, she gave birth. Vatomer, and she said, wow, Pam Oides Avai. Now I'm going to thank the Abish, because now I've overdone my job. I'm going to thank grace to God. Kain Karashma Yehuda, and that's why she called Yehuda, which means Oida, to be to show acknowledgement. And then she stopped bearing, she stopped having children. So Rashi says, Hapam, now the time I will thank, since I've taken more than my share. I had 4 children. Consequently, I must offer thanks. Now I have to offer thanks to God. Chapter 30, verse 1. And Rachel saw she had not had any children with Yaakov. So Rachel became jealous, envied her sister. And she turned to Jacob and she said, Havali Banim, you got to give me some children. If not, Mesa Neichi, I'm dead. So now she said, what was she jealous of? And now she says she was jealous of her good deeds. She said, if she had not yet more righteous than I would not have merited, she would not have merited children because she's more righteous. That's one of the things you should be jealous of somebody is of her righteousness. Rachel felt that why did she have more children? Because she was more righteous than her. Havali, did your father not do that for your mother? Didn't Isaac pray for his wife? Why are you not praying for me? Why are you not begging God that I should have children? Mesa Nechi. Now she says from here we learn that whoever has no children is counted as dead. God forbid. Verse number 2. Yichar af Yaakov Rachel, and Jacob became angry with Rachel. Am I instead of God? What am I? Became a God who has withheld Hashemona mimech pri beten, who has withheld the fruits of the womb from you. So Rashi says, am I instead of God? Am I in his place? Do I have all these powers? You may say that I should do as my father did, right? You have a good complaint. I'm not like my father. My father had no sons. And that's why he prayed. But I, Baruch Hashem, have 4 sons already. So God didn't withheld from me. He withheld it from you. So you need to pray. Verse 3. So she said to him, here's my maidservant Bila. Boila, come and live with her. And let her bear children on my knees. And I will build up the family from her. So now she says, what is the meaning? I too. She said to him, your grandfather Abraham had sons from Hagar. Yet he girded his loins. He prayed fervently for Sarah's behalf. He replied, my grandmother brought her rival into her house. She said, if this matter is holding things up, preventing me from having children, here is my maidservant. That was her agenda. She said, I've learned from my grandmother, our grandmother Sarah, who brought another woman into the picture. I will build this family like Sarah did. I will do the same thing. Verse 4. She gave her maidservant Bilhah, Leisha, for a wife, and he lived with her. Verse 5. Bilhah got pregnant. Ben, and she gave him a son. Rachel said, Rachel named her, Dani Elikim, God has judged me. V'gam shama b'keli, he listened to my voice. V'yitli ben, and he gave me a son. Al kain kara shmei Dun. Therefore, she called him Dun. That's Dani. He judged me, declared me guilty, and then declared me innocent by giving me a child through Bilhah. Bilhah, verse 7, and Bilhah had another child. She was Rachel ben Shein Liyakiv. She had a second child. Rachel, and Rachel said, Naftuli Elikim, with divine bonds I've been joined. Niftalti Machesi, I've been joined with my sister. Gam Yacholteos, I also prevailed. And she called him Naftali. So that says Naftali. Nachem classified as a grouping in numbers, a covered bond, psil. It bonds from the omnipresent. I have joined my sister in merit children, to merit children. I interpret it as expression of a preserved and crooked. I have stubbornly pleaded my tzaddis, my pleas to the omnipresent to be equal to my sister. It's like a psil, like a twisted kind of concept. It was a debate with God. And I have also prevailed. He yielded to my uncles, however, rendered it as an expression of prayer, tefillah. Yacholti tefillah. Naftalti lehim naftalti. Requested, beloved to him, were accepted on my behalf, and I've answered like my sister. Niftalti means my praise was accepted. There are many Agadic Medish that interpret this phrase as a method of nitrikin. Each group of letters represents a word, niftalti. So there's like a three words in one word. Verse number 9. Vatera Leah, and Leah saw ki the Meleda, she saw she started having children. Vatikach Zilpah, she took her maidservant Zilpah, and she gave it to Jacob as a wife. Vatera Zilpah, and Zilpah gave birth to Yaakov, a son. So now she says, in the case of all of them, like all Jacob's wife, conception is mentioned, except Zilpah, because she was the youngest of all of them, and so young in years that her pregnancy was not even noticed. In order to deceive Yaakov, Laban gave her to Leah, so that he would not perceive that they were bringing Leah. For this was their custom, to give the older maidservant to the younger, and the younger maidservant to the older maidservant to the older, and the younger maidservant to the younger. But he flipped it. He gave the older the younger maidservant. And that was one of the tricks that he did. So they were very young. Leah, and Leah said, Ba God, luck has come. God. So Rashi says, God, good luck has come. The Targum, innocent. Similarly, my fate be lucky, God Gadi, and not fatigued. Similar, who set a table for God, according to the Godic Medrash, in saying the same name, he was born circumcised. God means cut off. But I don't know why it's written the word ba God, in our verse. Another explanation, why was it read the word, why is it read as one word, ba God, but because you have Matei Malaya, ba God. Is like ba Gadati be. You have betrayed me when you came to my handsmaid. As a man who has betrayed Bagad, his wife of his youth. So it's another expression of being cut off, so to say, being deceived. Taylor Zilpah, verse 12. Taylor Zilpah Shivchas Leah ben Shein Yaakov, and Zilpah had another child for Yaakov, and Vatayma Leah, and Leah said, "Ba'ashri, because of my good fortune. Kieshani banes, for women have declared me fortune. Vatikra Shemai Asher, and she called him Asher." So right now we have 8 children born to Yaakov and his three wives. Leah had 4 sons, Bilhah had 2 sons, and Zilpah had 2 sons. So we're holding at this present time with 8 of the tribes. And this completes the Chumash of the day. We're going to go to the Tanya of the day, which we continue in the 4th essay in Kuntas Achrein, and the Alter Rebbe is continuing to explain the greatness of simply doing a mitzvah. And the power of doing a mitzvah is higher than anything else that you can do. And the Alter Rebbe continues, besides all the above, which means all the above mentioned ways in which the action related mitzvah are superior to the intellect aroused by love and fear. Yet there's another superior quality in particular mitzvahs. Alter Rebbe says, even in the case of the souls of Atzilus, though it derives from the vessels of Atzilus, of the world of Atzilus with the highest level, the world of emanation, and equally is the case of the nefesh, ruach, and neshama that derives from the worlds of Yitzida and Asiya. So wherever world you might come from, my soul might come from, their intellect, love, this beyond the intellect, love, fear and love, which themselves are in a mode of elevation, also arouse the vessels of Yitzir and Asiya, a state of upward elevation through an arousal initiated from below. So through a Jew does something from below his own love and fear, he creates an awakening above. So my love and fear in this world creates a awakening above in the world of action, and it creates awakening above in the world of formation, and ultimately awakening above in the vessels of, in the oiros, in the lights of the world of creation. Ultimately, it creates an awakening above to bring about the lights of the world of emanation. So their intellectual, So there, however, this is a state of departure alone. God forbid, this is a state of departure alone. God forbid. The effect on the vessels is that they depart upwards and do not fulfill their purpose. Just as love and fear do not descend in an expression in mitzvahs, are also in a state of elevation and departure. When we love and fear do descend into mitzvahs, they enhance the effect of the mitzvah in drawing down divine light. But the elicitation from above downward is affected only by the means of practical mitzvahs which draw light into the vessel, and specifically into the external aspect of the vessel, so that the external aspect of the superior level descends, while the intellect with the internal aspect of the inferior level rises. So there's a concept going up and there's a concept going down. So there's an aspect of our concept. When we do something here above from below, it pushes something up, and that's called the stalkus. The thing goes higher. What happens when the thing from the lower goes higher? It wakens up something from higher to come below. This is what the intent of the above mentioned statement in Zohar and Parshat Pekudei, that there's an order of an elevation in order of a descent. But both are needed for divine purpose, for man's spiritual service, the elevation and the elicitation. The elevation of Mayim Nukvim, when we elevate the lower waters for the name of Sak, that is accomplished, the elevation by deeds and speech. Vizel, this is the ultimate purpose of the downward progression of all the various worlds, that the supernal light will be revealed below. That's really the whole purpose. The purpose is not the concept of going up. The purpose is the concept of coming down. That's not that the inferior level be elevated. For this elevation, it can only be monetarily until further descent. The whole purpose of the aliyah, the whole purpose of the uplift is that something should come down. And even so, when the elevation is necessary, this involves not the ascent of the light, for that would be a move towards departure, specifically an elevation of the levels to the supernal light. That's the whole purpose. The whole purpose is that we bring about the revelation. The whole concept of work is revelation, is to reveal a greater light. That is the whole concept. So we do a mitzvah. A mitzvah takes a second. I put on tefillin today. That mitzvah takes a second. But that second that it took brings down a oid elaki, brings down a light of God, which is forever. Alter Rebbe says this specific quality of Shabbos Yom Kippur. The whole concept of Shabbos and Yom Kippur is what? Is that we elevate the day. We make this day holy. It's only a 24-hour period, but this holiness affects the whole week. Because why? Because it brings down a greater light. Not the elevation, the parsha of lights, God forbid, that's written in Chayetz Chaim. Not that we're departing the light, we're departing the vessel. And now brings out a greater light. Nefesh, as it brought down, the nefesh, and shama of man, relative to the physical body, in the world are considered as lights to vessels. So too, in comparison our soul to our body is light. Our nefesh is a light. Our body is a vessel. And so too, the intellect, fear and love, in relative to mitzvah, is also considered light in relative to vessels. And therefore, that's why Moshe Rabbeinu prayed 550 prayers, which is equal to in number to the word ve'eschanan, and he begged God, please give me the capability that I can complete the practical mitzvah, so I'll be able to bring down a light that is unbelievable. Not only do I want to elevate the tachta, not that I want to elevate the below, and I want to bring the below to a higher, but I want to do something even greater. I want to reveal an oil. I want to reveal a godliness in the world that cannot be revealed without this vessel. So to regard to physical utterance of the law of a mitzvah, that when we physically, as going back to what we mentioned a week ago already, whoever learns the laws of the Torah, for sure to have a part in the world to come. It's important to learn the laws of the Torah, because by learning the laws of the Torah, we bring down an oir avaya, we bring down a light of God that is greater than anything that any emotions and any feelings that we can have in this world. And that completes the Tanya for the day. Today is the 8th day of the month of Kislev. We should take out a Tillim, read chapter 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 45 to 48, 44 to 48. And when you do that, you have done the obligation to learn Chitas today. Have a beautiful, wonderful, happy, healthy, gorgeous, phenomenal day. I hope to see you all by all the classes that Chabad gives today and tomorrow, Mitch Shem, my wife and myself, and learning never ends.